from Harvard City, California, on bass, Harold Brown, says, Howard Scott, drinking wine. Here we go. This is the last thing.
What's up, Cones?
Hey, we got a thing that we like to try. It's funky, get way down, let's boogie a while. Just a little bit.
What's up, Dirty Cones? I know you're like, what is he doing? I love war, which is hilarious because I don't, but I do. One of the finest blues funk bands ever. They played with Jimi Hendrix the night before he died. Started by Eric Burdon of Eric Burdon Animals. Used to be Eric Burdon War, and then they left him and exploded. Very big in the lowrider Chicano community, Cheech and Chong, and Los Angelinos. If you ever get a chance to check them out, I like them. They touch my soul. So another thing that touches my soul, freedom. So this was going to be called the Fully Functional Freedom Fuck Yeah Edition. I've gone through it in my head a couple times. And what would Jocko do? Jocko would limit the FYs, so I will do my best. But, like I said, I'm an impassioned person, and this is kind of an impassioned topic. So, for Veterans Day, I did a speech with the Chamber of Commerce and the Air Force Association on Randolph. And the topic of my speech was called service. And I believe that freedom, much like free will, means you can choose to do whatever you wish to do, as long as it's not taking away my freedom, and I can do anything I wish to do as long as it's not taking away from your freedom. A lot of people, they don't like it. Well, but you got to stand for this, or you have to kneel for that, or you shouldn't kneel for this, and you should stand for that. And that is the Constitution is a lot like God. Like, it's between you and me, how I interpret it, how I see it, how I feel it, what it does for me. I don't think people fully understand what freedom actually is, and if you really looked at what your rights are or what your rights aren't, I think you'd see that a lot of our freedoms are actually kind of taken away from us. But without getting into that, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I have the freedom to do whatever I want. I can sit during the singing the national anthem. I can burn a flag. I can do whatever I want. It doesn't hurt anybody. I want to shoot somebody. There, I've taken away your freedom to live. And I know that you're thinking, well, those are kind of extreme. That's freedom. I don't like people who burn flags. You know, I don't see any reason to do it, but that's their freedom to, you know, and freedom of religion, you get the freedom to do whatever you want. So, my dad wrote a letter, I guess where they're at, or he heard about an 8th grade young lady who wanted to sit for the pledge, or the national anthem. I'll read it again. I'll read it to you, so we'll both figure out what exactly she sat down for. And he says, like, well, he doesn't really give an answer. Well, he believes that she should stand, and that, but that's forced. That's not freedom. And we both believe the same thing, that you probably should stand at the national anthem. But where do we draw the line on what we enforce and what we don't enforce, and what we force you to do? It's a slippery slope, and I think, if you believe in a God and you believe that He gave us free will, you can do whatever you want. You'll pay for it later. Be a good person, do the right thing, be the best you can be. I think that's about as good as it gets, but I understand the argument. But who's to say, Southern Baptists are right? Who's to say that Seventh-day Adventists aren't right? Who's to say anything? You can't judge. I know smart people on both sides, and it's like, So, my letter from my dad to the editor. Why we stand. As I read the October 23rd edition of the Daily Miner covering the 8th grader that refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I began to ask myself, what does this young girl know about the privilege to live in the United States of America? What does she know about the men who stood against the British in 1776 to give us our Constitution? How about the men who stood against the British again in 1812? The men who stood again in 1861-1865 to keep America whole? What about the men who stood together on the front lines in France in 1918? Then they had to stand together again in 1941, in Korea in 1950, Vietnam in 1965, in 1991 to assist the Kuwaitis against Iraq. Do you remember September 11th, 2001? I know these men, my family members, fought in 1776, 1861, my grandfather in 1918, my father in 1941, my uncles in 1950, cousins in 1965, and then myself in the end. I served in 1991 Kuwait and 2003 Iraq. My only son for 20 years in the Air Force as a pararescueman, with 9 trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. He gave me too many. And 2 major surgeries for injuries sustained. Nephews and good friends who served in combat operations. I served in the U.S. military for 33, in the regular Army and Reserve. I retired as a sergeant major, and I now receive benefits from the Veterans Administration for combat-related injuries. You watched some football player who took a knee because he feels bad for some other Americans, and now you want to be like him. What do you know about the Irish, Italians, and the Chinese that were treated as badly as any slave ever was? What do you know about their plight in America? Before you place hero status on a person who is paid millions a year to play sport, think about the real hero who is paid less than an Arizona minimum wage to serve in the military of this great nation. You can sit in your seat as the ACLU tells you it's your right to. The Constitution and the millions of service members who have fought and died for that piece of paper give you that right. But you, young lady, as you sit on your backside in your chair in the classroom, who has done nothing to earn that right except to be born in America, think of the people around the world who would take your place in a heartbeat, and they would stand at attention to have that right to take the pledge you refuse to. God bless the United States of America. Wesley Maroney, Sergeant Major, U.S. Army, retired. So I think my dad, he put it well. I understand his argument. It's true. But he says, his argument right there, earn that right, except you have done nothing to earn that right except be born in America. And there's your answer. That's unfortunately all you need to have every right to do whatever you want. Just be born here. Or come here and become a citizen, and now you too can do whatever you want. It's a conundrum. But yeah. I feel you right there. That right there in the middle of your heart, there's something that says, but you should stand. And that's what the right thing is. But you can't make people do the right thing. You can't bring a horse to water, and you can't bring a kid to the candy store, because everybody's just going to do whatever they want. That's freedom. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to live in a place where we were forced to salute the flag. Remember that guy? Right? Forced to salute a flag? Mm-mm. It's not the American way. We are not, by right, not might, is the way it's supposed to be. So just do what's right. You do what's right, and that's the only thing you can do. And that's freedom. Because you know what you're supposed to do. So just do it. I don't know. Hopefully this gets your brains moving, your thought. I think school, they used to teach you how to think, and now they teach you what to think. That free will is a great thing. I can do this, I can do that. Right? It's black. I won't sing. So yeah, freedom. And it all started, it was funny, I watched Saw and on a Thanksgiving and was like, you know what? You should just always do the right thing because you don't know. And I am so grateful and thankful at this moment that I am not in this movie. Carrie Ells, I mean, man, that was hardcore. So enjoy your freedom. Be thankful for what you got, your family, and everything. And just be a good person. That's it. So everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. And hope the train's going good. Hoo-yah.